Welcome back to Challenge, everyone. Our final score of this evening's contest finds Dayton Regional with 255 points and New Providence with 60 points. And that, of course, means that Dayton will be returning to compete in our second round of Challenge. Next week, we have Rahway High School against Mother Seton. We'll be back with Challenge next week. We hope you join us. I'm Paul Spahala. Good night, everyone.
Is in. What a touchdown! Flowers breaks it through the middle, and Michael Flowers will have his third touchdown of the day. TV3 Sports has come to Mizell Field in Springfield for a Mountain Valley Conference affair. The Dayton Bulldogs entertain the Bears of Brearley High School. Good evening, everybody. I'm Matt Laughlin, along with me, Al Reynoso, and we welcome you to our coverage. Al, seemingly teams going in opposite directions. Brearley comes in at 6-1, Dayton 1-6, but that 1-6 is a little misleading.
Well, Dayton's record is misleading, as you said, Matt. They've had trouble scoring. They've been pretty tough on defense, but they've got two one-touchdown losses. They've got a 1-point loss in their record. So if you turn those 3 ball games around that were very, very close, they could be on the winning side of the log right now.
That close to turning things around. Brearley, meanwhile, has been on a roll. 5 consecutive shutouts for the Bears.
5 shutouts. The Bears are moving. They've only got 1 loss, and they've got a tremendous program. Always have. They're very, very proud of that shutout record, and I'm sure they're trying to get a shutout here tonight.
They're looking for the shutout. They're looking for the victory to go to 7-1. They will look to Tim Kaufman to do some things from the tight end spot.
Tim Kaufman is, according to Coach Bobby Taylor, the best tight end they've ever had there. He's got 6 touchdowns, 13 receptions. He's an outstanding player, and he's going to test the secondary for Dayton tonight.
There are some changes in that Bulldog secondary, and we will get to those later on when we introduce the defense to you. Kaufman will be on the field a lot. He's also the place kicker and the punter for the Brearley Bears, and he'll be in the defensive secondary. For Dayton, they have an outstanding punter, and actually he's a key part of their defense, if you will, in that he gives his team good field position from which to defend.
He's an outstanding kid. He's, like you said, a Division A1 punter prospect. He's got a tremendous foot. And as you said, Matt, he's their defense. He puts the team down on the 1- and 2-yard line and makes them have to drive that distance in order to score. And he's got 2 touchdowns. He's tied with the lead offensively for the club. He's a good kid, a big, tough kid.
Steve Presmirski is the punter. And the interesting story is that he punts left-footed and he kicks off right-footed. So Presmirski, a multi-talented athlete. But would you call that ambidextrous, Al?
Well, it's ambidextrous or something like that, but it's really unusual, and it's usually a mark of an outstanding athlete if you can do things with either foot or either hand, and that's what we have here tonight.
John LeDun says he's the best athlete on the team. That sets the scene. Dayton and Brearley squaring off from Mizell Field. We'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this.
It's 5 o'clock. Game time.
Weekend athletes who race from the office to the playing field can wind up sidelined for the season. Being out of condition and overdoing it are major causes of pain and injury. Sprains and fractures are the most common. To prevent injury, increase the activity at a reasonable rate. If sudden pain occurs, stop immediately. Avoid using the injured area until pain-free. Aspirin, ice packs, and rest can help. If pain persists or is significant, it should be checked by a physician. Most people overestimate their abilities on the sports field. Knowing your body's limitations will help you stay in the game.
Mizell Field in Springfield, the home of the Dayton Bulldogs. We're under the lights for this evening's contest between the Bulldogs and the Brearley Bears. The officials for this evening's contest: Jim Beamish is the referee. The umpire is George Angelo. Tim Rinaldi is the line judge. The head linesman is Rick Mataranti. The back judge is Jerry Hughes. And Charles Bolser is the clock operator. These are portable lights, but actually, Al, compared to some of the portable lights I have seen in the area, this field is evenly lit, and there should not be much problems attributed to the lighting.
Well, the lighting, you know, when you judge lighting, you got to judge the altitude of the lighting. The higher the lights, the better the lighting, obviously. These lights are pretty high. They're not as high as some of the permanent lighting that we've seen around the county and around the stadiums that we do games in, but it's high enough. And, you know, these kids like playing under the light. I think it's a real treat. A lot of high school kids go through an entire career without ever having to play a night game, and yet out in the Midwest, you talk to players in high school, and they say they never played under the sun. But it's a treat, I think, for these teams, and it's a good idea for the teams to get an opportunity to play under the lights. It's a thrill.
Mark Scuderi will kick off. Sherrod Wright is back deep, along with Joe Perez and Jason Molman, and Wright takes it at the 10. And he is brought down at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Dayton. Up front for the Bulldogs, their left tackle is Matt Sapara. Alex Tarantino is the left guard. Mark Nadson is the center. Jordan Pintado is the right guard. And DeJohn Cataldo is the right tackle. The backs and receivers, the tailback is Andy Huber. Joe Perez is the fullback. The wingback is Rich Roach. Steve Presmirski is the split end. The tight end is Justin Patino. And the quarterback is Jeremy Bazidlo. Bazidlo incomplete, looking for Patino. Bazidlo is a senior, 6 foot, 175 pounds. Fairly good arm, has some quickness. Defensively for the Brearley Bears, Joe Bowerzak, Scott DeBow, Jim McMenamin, Jose Rodriguez, and Chris Kirakaitis is the defensive line. The linebackers are Mike Wright and Chris Layden. And in the secondary, the cornerback is Len Ludak. The halfbacks are Joe Corbo and Ken Williams. And the safety is Tim Kaufman. 2nd and 10. Bazidlo finds Kresmirski, and Kresmirski, running the diagonal, has a 1st down and more. Kaufman brings him down at the 44-yard line.
Let's take a look at it. It's a sprint out to the left. You'll see him turn around, and he hits Przbierski as he's coming across, catches the defense for Brearley, moving to their right, and does a great job getting necessary yardage, and this is a big shot in the arm for this Dayton club. First series is very important offensively.
Przbierski, with 4 catches coming into the game, picks up his 5th there and adds 24 yards to his total. As we said in our open, Coach John LeDunn feels he's the best athlete on the team.
Well, they're going to have to stop him. Brearley will have to stop him if they're going to shut down this Dayton offense. But right now, Dayton has just run the ball for 5 yards, and that's something that Brearley didn't think they could do. They didn't think they could run the ball against them. And here they are getting a nice 1st down, 5-yard gain.
2nd and 5. Bazidlo looking deep, and it's incomplete. Roach and Przbierski in the area. The ball overthrown to Roach, underthrown to Przbierski. There's John LeDunn in his 4th year as the head coach.
John LeDunn has had an outstanding job here. He came in when the program was kind of down, Matt, and he's brought them back to respectability and then some. Last year, this club beat Brearley during the season, and that was an accomplishment.
We look at Bazidlo's stats on a passing down. Instead, he runs it himself, and he's got the 1st down. Across midfield, inside the 45 to the 44, Bezidlo, the second leading rusher on this team, averaging 4.5 yards per carry. And he exceeded that margin there, and it's a first down.
Let's take a look. There's the fake dive, and he comes on the corner and reads the block. Does a beautiful job turning it up. The ball's a little bit loose. Should have it a little closer to his body, but a first down is a first down, and Dayton's on the march.
Kirakaitis with the tackle. And the middle of that Brearley Bear defense stuffs the run as the leading ball carrier on this team, Joe Perez, picks up maybe 2 yards. Bob Taylor, 18 years at Brearley, 108 victories, picked up his 100th last year.
Bobby Taylor, an outstanding coach at Brearley, several state championships, has been in the playoffs, lost in the finals once. He's really brought that program around.
Second down and 8. 9:40 to play in the opening quarter. Bezidlo to the air again. Incomplete. Nobody in the area for the Bulldogs. Pressure applied by the defensive line. Joe Bowerzak is the man who is applying most of the pressure. He's one of the captains of this Brearley Bear team. He and Don Deon. Bowerzak, the left end, 5'8", 165-pounder. Clayton Trivet comes in with the play, replacing Joe Perez.
Bezidlo has been running the offense. That time he looked like he was confused on the receiver patterns. As you said, Matt, threw into the defense a little bit.
Twin receivers to the near side. Bezidlo fires over the middle, and he's got his man. Neil Lynch, the 6'2", 175-pound junior, has the first down inside the 30-yard line, similar to the play we saw earlier.
He looked to throw the screen out to the right, kind of sucked the defense over to his right side, and then hit the tight end coming across on a crossing pattern underneath the deep coverage. Another first down for Dayton, and a timeout, a smart timeout by Brearley.
Bobby Taylor calls timeout. His team has not been scored on in the last 5 ball games. The last touchdowns they gave up came back in the New Providence game, the second game of the season, when they lost 13-7 to the Pioneers. Neil Lynch, who made that last reception, Al, is an interesting story. He's only a junior. Last year he did not play because he suffered a broken leg and was out for the year. So he misses that critical sophomore year, but is back here in his junior year, and he's one of the foundation, the building blocks for next year.
Well, Lynch is a nice size at 6'2", 175. When he fills out by next year, he'll really be a welcome addition to the offense. He backs up Justin Patino on that side, but he can back up both sides. So Dayton has come out throwing the ball effectively. A nice little change up, running and throwing. Now they've run the Perez on a dive on first down twice in a row now.
And they keep the ball on the ground again, and it's stopped for little gain. Bowerzak at the bottom of the pile. Also in on the stop, Mike Wright, as Perez stopped for no gain. Getting back to Lynch for a moment, he comes from a family that has played here at Dayton. His brother Matt was a captain 2 years ago. In that year, the club finished 8-2 and went to the North 2 Section 2 playoffs. 2nd and 9 after the short pickup. Flag thrown on the play as the ball is overthrown to Presmersky. The coverage provided by Ken Williams, the senior cornerback, excuse me. We'll have to check out the flag. And
first penalty of the night.
Number 36.
Illegal procedure is the call on the Bulldogs. There did look like there was movement prior to the snap.
So these are the things that stop drives, penalties, of course, fumbles and interceptions and turnovers, but the penalties can really hurt.
Okay, we have number 36, offense, motion, decline, 3rd down.
The Bears elect to take the down on the incompleted pass, making it 3rd and 9.
Not a bad idea, Matt. Force him into the passing situation. That pass can make up 10 yards quickly, so why give him 2 shots at it? they're in the 4-down area anyway. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go on 4th down if they make any kind of yardage here.
Triple receivers on the left side, and Roche jumped across before the snap, and this one they'll take.
No, it looked like Brearley may have moved also. This is an interesting discussion going on down here. The Brearley players are moving back, and that's usually an indication that somebody's saying they moved too.
Okay, we got a dead ball foul. We have encroachment, defense, still 3rd down.
So I apologize to Rich Roach. He did move. You won't see it, but before he jumped, there was movement on the defensive line, encroachment, somebody stepping across, and I guess that's when Roach moved. So the encroachment makes it 3rd and 5.
Trips to the left again, Matt.
Little floater for Andy Huber, who as soon as he grabs it is wrestled to the ground by Len Ludek.
Let's see where they mark it. The mark is going to be very important.
He'll be marked, it looks like, just at the 20-yard line, which will necessitate about a half-yard pickup for a 1st down. It's 4th and about a yard, we'll call it. 4th and 1 as we get a timeout called on the field, called by the Bulldogs. So John LeDun calling a smart timeout out because his team's driving and they've been inconsistent on offense all year, and he wants to see them continue this drive.
Look at that catch right on the line. The officials did a great job spotting the ball. He caught it right on the line. They put it right on the line, and as you said, Matt, it's about a yard short, and a very, very intelligent timeout because this drive against a team that has not been scored on in the last 6 ball games is very, very important, not only to the momentum, but to the morale of this Dayton offense. Dayton has had trouble putting points on the board. Brearley has shut everyone out in the last 6 games, and there's a shot, the last 5 games, and there's a chance for them to really, really not only put 6 or 7 on the board, but demoralize the Brearley defense.
Last week, Dayton suffered a shutout loss to Central, 36-0, and John LeDun was not happy with his club's performance. And I'm sure he had a few words of wisdom during practice this week. And I know it's important for some of these players when the cameras come, as we look at what Bizidlo has done so far, 3 for 7. So I'm sure that's helped out. Young men like to play on television. They know a lot of their peers will be watching. Bizidlo keeps it, and it's going to be close. Williams came up, hit him first, and Kirakaitis came in to help make sure that he didn't advance much farther. Mike Wright was also in on the play, as was Jose Rodriguez, and it will be very, very close.
Bizidlo looked like he was trying to hand the ball to a dive man. Nobody showed up. Everybody was looking for the pitch, and that kind of knocked the timing off. He had a battle for that on his own. Everyone was expecting Perez into the middle, but they came wide, and he looked like he was holding the ball out as if somebody was supposed to come by and take it from him, but he got very, very close. If he missed by only a few inches.
Stretching the chain out. And by about half the length of the football, the Bulldogs continue to maintain possession of the ball. 8:19 to go in the 1st quarter, and they began this drive back on their 20-yard line, Al, and they're now inside the Bear 20.
In the 4-down zone, they went for it on 4th down, and they continued the drive, and we talked about how important this drive is.
That's got to be a confidence builder for Dayton. Bizidlo on the keeper, bouncing off of tackles, gets a nice block by Huber. Huber sealed off that lane beautifully after Bizidlo popped free, and Bizidlo is down inside the 5.
There's the fake to Perez. That was a very important fake, but look at the way he spins outside. Now watch the block he picks up along the sideline. Boom, right there, 22, makes the hit. Andy Huber. Andy Huber was the pitchback, and he very intelligently, when he saw Bizidlo carrying the ball, turned it up and had a seal block along the sideline, and they stretched that play out for a long distance.
A flag was thrown on the play, and the indication is a personal foul on the Bears. Looked like it was a late hit. We'll get the call from Jim Beamish.
Okay, we got a tackle, out of bounds, defense, 1st.
So the ball marked half the distance to the goal line.
Let's take
It's
a
marked
look,
down
Matt.
around the 2.
There he is. He's out of bounds. And a couple of fellas want to jump on. Here we go. First down.
It'll be Huber trying to go right side, spins forward and in. And the celebration erupts on the Bulldog sideline as Huber has gotten into the end zone.
Great job by Huber, just keeping his feet. He goes into the pile and spins to the left. And with that spin, he gets out of the grasp of the defenders and gets the points.
For Huber, his first touchdown of the year, and he's only played about half of the games. He missed the first 3, Al, suffering from a combination of a concussion and an ankle injury. He was a starter last year, and they sorely missed him in the early going, and he's just slowly rounding his way into football shape. High snap. Kresmirski puts it up, and good. Credit Clayton Trivet with pulling that ball out of the air, and Andy Huber comes to the sideline, and high fives all around for the junior, who on the short touchdown run has given Dayton the lead.
There's the touchdown. Look at Huber spinning and sliding, and he crosses the goal line backwards. But it doesn't matter as long as his knee hasn't touched. Those points count. We talked about how they've given the ball to Perez on first down, 3 first downs in a row. That time on first down on that long run by Bazidlo, they faked to Perez on first down, and the fake drew in the defense. Bazidlo got outside. Huber went up the sideline and threw that beautiful block. They got down into the 1-yard line and scored the touchdown.
Big drive for the Bulldogs following the opening kickoff. The 2-yard run by Huber, 80 yards in 14 plays. And Dayton leads by a score of 7-0.
Let's see what Brearley has to answer for those 7 points. Brearley's got to get back in this game. They look shocked over there on the sideline.
Well, they had not given up a point since the second game of the season. So the shutout string goes by the board. And they're looking now just to continue their winning streak. And I think they realize they're in a ball game.
Dayton is fired up, Matt. The lights, the TV, we're in for a ball game.
Kaufman from the 12. And Kaufman does a good job bringing the ball out to the 35-yard line. Good field position for the 6-1 Brearley Bears. Offensively up front for Brearley. The left tackle is Jim McMenamin. Jose Rodriguez is the left guard. Bob Taylor the center. Mike Ring the right guard. Bruce Harms is the right tackle. In the backfield, the tailback will be James King to begin things. Mike Battle the fullback. Len Ludek the flanker. Joe Corbo the split end. Tim Kaufman the tight end. And the quarterback is senior Don Deone, 5'10", 175-pounder, who has thrown 7 touchdown passes. Sweep as they go to King. And King picks up about 6 yards as he gets across the 40-yard line to the 41. Defensively for Dayton. Up front, Mike Cervello, Justin Patino, James Corbett, Mark Nadson, and Neil Lynch. The linebackers, on the strong side, it's Tarantino. On the weak side, it's Mulman. The rover is Rick Roach. The left corner, Joe Perez. The right corner is Huber. And the safety is Clayton Trivet.
They opened up with James King on the sweep. Got themselves a nice piece of yardage. James King, an outstanding running back. Very fast.
Steve Maselli has come in the lineup to replace him, and it is Maselli who has the first down as he gets near midfield. Maselli, a 5'5" sophomore, excellent quickness. And though he is a sophomore, Bobby Taylor feels very comfortable with him in a key role.
Look at him carry the leather. He just turns it up and runs out of some tackles. It's a nice first down. So Brearley is driving back, and Dayton is going to have to shut them down if they're going to continue to keep the momentum.
Maselli with 83 yards coming into the game, averaging over 4.5 yards per carry. This team averages over 6 yards per carry. Here's the pitch to King. Cutback ability by King, and look at him explode into the secondary. Another first down as he is inside the 40 to the 39.
James King, let's take a look at the speed here. Takes the pitch, reads the block. Now look at the way he changes direction and comes inside the blocking and just outruns some of the pursuit.
I said inside the 40 to the 39. They're inside the 40, but they're down to the 34. King has super speed, according to Bob Taylor. Maselli with excellent quickness, but King with the super speed. Mike Battle, the senior, who has the combination of speed and power in that backfield, gets to the 30-yard line for a 4-yard pickup.
Bob Taylor sending plays in every down with fresh backs, fresh receivers.
Kaufman moves tight to the left side. Ludek and Corbo come split to the right, running out of the I formation. And it is Battle, and he is close to a first down. Jason Mulman, the weak side linebacker, coming up with the stop. He had 20 tackles out in the Hillside ball game. That earned him Bulldog of the Week honors.
Tough defensive ball player, and that was a heartbreaking loss, 7-6 to Hillside. And that's one of the things that Dayton has had to deal with. They've just lost some couple of close ball games, and their record is not as indicative as the kind of club they are, but they've got to play some defense now.
3rd and short, and again they go to Mike Battle, and Battle has the first down. Battle, the leading rusher on this team, came into the game 665 yards on the ground, out 12 touchdowns.
5'11", 185-pound senior Mike Battle.
Also
And
plays basketball.
Brearley's very methodical with this I formation veer offense they run.
On first down, Battle looks to get to the outside. Perez came up to make a pop. Mulman dragged him down from the inside.
So we see Mulman getting into the action at that linebacker spot.
He's the most improved defensive player on the club, according to John LeDun, and has improved to the point where he is their best defensive player. They have a point system they keep whereby you get so many points for a tackle, an assist, a fumble recovery, an interception, that type of deal. And he is the leading point getter on this team. Dayon rolling out, will keep it himself, and Don Dayon has a first down and more. He's into the end zone.
Once he got outside the contain, Matt, he very intelligently read the defense, playing back, took a straight line to the goal line and got himself in for 6 points. Let's take a look. Here he is outside. Now he sees he's by himself out there. There's nobody but the official and the blue shirts, and he just turns it up. Right here he moves to the inside and gets that 6 points and comes right back into the ball game. A very important extra point here.
John Changeo will hold for Mark Scuderi. And we had movement on the defensive line. 3:53 to play in the first quarter. Brearley trails by a point. You can see the light stanchions. We do apologize. Temporary lights, portable lights installed here
Encroachment defense.
at Mizell Field so that we could bring this game to you under the lights, and you'll just have to bear with seeing a pole once in a while. Kind of think of it as you're at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. You've got a partially obstructed seat.
Meanwhile, Matt, the penalty has brought the ball half the distance to the goal line, and now Brearley is going to go for 2 and go for the lead early in the ball game.
They eschew the kick, and they're going to try to pick it up either via the run or the pass. Let's see what they do. I formation look. Pitch, and getting in is King.
And just did, Matt, just got in. But he could go in by a mile or an inch. He's in there, and Brearley jumps on top by a score of 8-7.
And it didn't take them long to take the lead. Huber scored with 8 minutes to go, and a little over 4 minutes later, Brearley got into the end zone.
So much for Brearley looking like they're in shock. They certainly didn't look that way offensively. I mean, they were methodical the way they run their offense. A lot of confidence, a lot of toughness, good ball carrying, excellent blocking up front. We listed the offensive club, and Bob Taylor is the name of the center. And if you're asking If that is the son of the coach, absolutely. He's a junior at 5'11", 175, and I've known him since he was a baby running around in a Pop Warner uniform at the games.
We're getting old now.
There he is, getting up there. You were there too, Matt, so don't say I'm getting old.
Well, we've been here 10 years doing these games, Al, and we have seen some of these young men grow up. We'll give you the scoring drive in just a moment, but Brearley leads by a score of 8-7, and Scuderi on for his second kickoff. Wright, Molman, and Perez back to receive the kick. Perhaps trouble with the lights, Perez, and is able to scramble forward near the 20-yard line. Might have had a little trouble with the lights. That kickoff went above the light stanchions, and he might have lost it for just a moment. The touchdown drive for the Brearley Bears, and it didn't take them long to score. They did wind up scoring on the 15-yard run by Dayton. The extra point run was good by King, 65 yards in 8 plays.
That was a confidence drive, Matt, and you know, that kind of offensive confidence is hopefully for Brearley what'll bring them back defensively here. On the other side, Dayton's got to get back the momentum.
Dayton started their first drive at the 20. This one starts at the 19, so they've got the Bears just where they want them.
Really, they talk about the defense of Brearley, and on that last play, you saw Perez just making a beautiful step to the outside as he got into the line of scrimmage, just shifted his direction and got himself a nice piece of yardage on first down.
6-yard pickup for Perez. He's an interesting story. They had plans to use him at wide receiver this year, but they had all sorts of injury problems at the fullback spot. That's where he winds up, and he's their leading carrier. Bazidlo looking to get outside of Bowersack. He's not able to do so, but he's able to pick up enough yardage where he is close to the first down.
Bazidlo pressuring the corner, did a nice job, got outside, got the first down. He pressured the corner and saw the corner playing soft for the pitch. He just turned it up, got himself the necessary yardage. First down on this series by Dayton.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs as we near the 2.5-minute mark. Now we have 2:30 to go. Bazidlo, 4 carries, 25 yards this evening. Clayton Trivett has the call, and Trivett's across the 30-yard line to about the 33. Getting back to that fullback situation for Dayton, Peter Kunzel, a junior, was listed as the fullback, but in the two-a-days in the preseason, he suffered a stress fracture to his foot, so he was out. They moved in Mike Reddington. He had a back problem. He hurt his back, so he was out. Andy Huber moved in the first quarter of the first game. He suffered a concussion versus Ridge, so he was out. So they moved Perez in there. Perez actually suffered a dislocated finger in their game scrimmage, but he is in there at fullback. So it's those kind of things. And on this level, Al, as we see Perez coming close to picking up the first down, I think he's got it. Those are the little things, and they seem little. And we think sometimes on the professional level where you just move a guy in and you don't miss a beat. But when you got to move guys from wide receiver to fullback and you lose depth because 3 or 4 guys go down with injuries, all of a sudden you're staring at a season where maybe you're thinking 5-4, because this team did graduate a lot off of last year's team. And then injuries crop up and you're at 1-6.
Well, Perez is doing an excellent job on that last down. He fought for that yardage all by himself, and here he is taking the dive on first down, setting up the option play. So Perez may be the best wide receiver fullback we've seen all year.
Well, I'll tell you, last week we saw fullback in Sal Hodgson for Caldwell. Ran for 2, returned a fumble, 70 yards for a score.
Or was that an interception?
We credited him with the fumble. Of course, we're not sure whether Farrar's arm, it was very close. Was Finn Farrar's arm moving forward, or was he hit from behind and that forced the ball to come free? It was very, very close. Second down play. Bazidlo fires for Kresmerski, and it's incomplete. Coverage on the play provided by Joe Corbo. And it'll be third down 38 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And it is the Bulldogs leading by a score of 8-7. I don't know what's being run other than it's ZX.
ZX is a pass pattern.
Come on, Coop!
Kacharski comes in. Peter Kacharski, 6 foot, 185-pound freshman, wearing number 40. There he is, the young man. Not on the original roster, but the freshman up with the big guys tonight.
You're both back. You're both back.
Running play as Trivet is near midfield and near a first down, but he'll be about a yard shy.
What do you want to do, John?
What do you want to do, John? That's a big decision now. 4th down.
And it certainly looks like they're going to go for it as he's sending Huber in with the play. Przemierski is on the field. He is the punter. So they might have some play where they can come out of an offensive look and shift into a punting set.
I think they'll come with the option. It's not a bad call to go on this series.
They're not going to get the play off, though, in this quarter as time expires in the first quarter. 2 touchdowns put on the board, 1 by each team. The difference right now, Brearley went for 2 and got it. They lead 8-7.
Sports of Glen Ridge offers the best in skis and ski wear, such as Blizzard and CB Sports ski wear, from beginner to World Cup equipment, with boots by Nordica, and skis and bindings featuring Marker and Tyrolia. Alpine Sports has excellent service and rentals for downhill, cross-country, and for kids. Alpine Sports, your #1 ski specialty shop, 855 Bloomfield Avenue, Glen Ridge. Call today, 429-7670.
Second quarter about to begin, and the Bulldogs have the ball. And in the exchange out, it looks like Brearley's lost about a yard. I mean, rather, Dayton's lost about a yard as John LeDun blesses himself coming off. It sure looked like they didn't have that much to go when we were on the other side of the field.
Really? I thought it was only about a yard. That looks like 2 yards.
Movement as Patino on the right side moved.
Well, let's see if this is a Brearley movement, because they moved too. If this is a Brearley movement, it's a first down. If not, then I think we're going to see a punt from Dayton.
Encroachment, right end offense. Still 4.
So the
And
penalty,
change.
marked off against the Bulldogs, and the punting unit comes on.
Coach
Now, folks,
LeDun.
we saw Przemierski kick an extra point. If you remember, he kicked it with his right foot. Przemierski's an excellent punter, but he punts with his left foot.
Well, we talked about him being a defensive weapon, and let's see if he puts the ball down there close to the goal line, but not in the end zone. A great kicker.
Ball marked at the 43-yard line. Short punt. Williams has trouble with it. And let's see who has fallen on it. Williams had trouble handling the low punt, and he was popped right away. Ball came free, rolled down to the 23-yard line, and they're still uncovering that pile. Somebody's got the ball outside the pile, saying, here it is. It's kind of like a scrum. That ball kind of came out from the pile, and now the officials will discuss it.
Well, you know, you can grab that ball out of the pile after the ball is dead, and then that doesn't count, but it's very, very difficult for the officials to decide on possession.
And it belongs to the Bulldogs. Let's take a look at it now. Williams has trouble with it.
Well, there's the ball right there. Bounces off his shoulder. Now, whether that's the lights or whatever, now it comes loose behind him. He tries to reach for it, but it squirts out from under him, and now we lose sight completely. So there's a Brearley player and a Dayton player jumping on the ball. The ball came out of the pile in the hands of a Brearley player, but that was after the whistle had blown and the play was dead. Now we're having a discussion with Coach Bob Taylor on the far sideline. I don't know if there's a timeout been called or not.
Well, with Jim Beamish discussing with Bobby what's going on, they will not run off this play.
There's two coaches out
Mike
there.
Londino also out to talk about it. It looks like from that camera angle that it's raining, but there is no rain here.
It was an amazing turn of events. A good decision to go for it on 4th down. Then the offside. That forced the punt. The punt was kicked, fumbled, and now Dayton has another shot.
And they mark it at the 22-yard line. Perez bouncing through the middle inside the 20-yard line.
You know, I was talking about a smart decision on that 4th down. Brearley has moved the ball at will almost, and it's very smart to keep the ball out of their hands.
Let's take a look at first quarter statistics, Al, as we have just begun the second quarter. Dayton inconsistent on offense all year, 103 yards in the first quarter. That's over a 400-yard pace for the game. So if they can keep that up, perhaps they have found the missing link, if you will. Clayton Trivet met at the line of scrimmage as he tries to come right side. Len Ludek making the stop along with Scott DeBoe. DeBoe, an outstanding junior, 6'1", 195-pounder. And he'll fall in line with some of the great names that have come out of this Brearley program and gone on to success. He will be highly recruited for and in his senior year.
Meanwhile, we're 3rd and 4 in the 4-down zone. They have 2 shots to make up these 4 yards.
Bezidlo taking it himself. Ludek does a nice job, Al. He bounced off a blocker, forced Bezidlo to go farther outside, and Ludek was able to trip him up.
Ludek did a great job out there, but look, Bezidlo should have gone inside here. Look at the lane he had inside. He thought he could get around Ludek, and Ludek is just too tough fighting off, skating to the outside and making the stop. So between Ludek playing real tough there and Bezidlo making the wrong decision by going wide, Brearley knocks them back.
And Presmirski will be on to try a field goal. Looks like he's marking it at the 27-yard line, putting the tee down at the 27. Trivet on for the hold. Trivet is the backup quarterback. We might see something off the field goal attempt. It's a 37-yarder, high snap, and Trivet will try to throw. He's got pressure, and he throws it incomplete. There was no one out there. That was a muffed snap. It was a little too high. There was no one out looking to receive the pass, so that was not a set play. That was just Trivet trying to turn the high snap into something. Watch, no one will break out for a pass.
Yeah, there was no verbal. Now, usually there should be a verbal signal by both the kicker and the holder when that occurs, but there wasn't, so it was obvious that it was not a set play. When I was coaching, the word was Mayday. When you heard Mayday, you ran out for a pass, and some of the guys that were in there for blocking only had the opportunity on a Mayday to catch the ball.
Give Trivet some credit. He still threw the ball away rather than be sacked and give Brearley a little better field position. So the ball at the 19-yard line, and a quick hitter up the middle, and Maselli was popped.
Looked like the whole middle of that Dayton Bulldog line.
He's not a big kid, Steve Maselli, 5'5", almost 150 pounds, and he just got popped.
Looked like Corbett, Patino, and Nadzin were right in there.
Maselli comes out as Bobby Taylor has been relaying the play from the sideline with Maselli. And in this case, it's Ken Williams who has come in. King has done the bulk of the running. Dayton on the keeper, and Dayton is across the 25 up near the 26. It'll be 3rd down. Dayton is an interesting story, Al. He did not play at all last year. He suffered from a blood disorder that prevented him from playing. However, he ran the scout team. The team respected the fact that he didn't give up on football. The coaches respected the fact that he ran the scout offense pretty well. He comes back for his senior year, has worked through the illness. He's healthy, he's okay. He's the starting quarterback. He's earned the respect of his teammates because he's come back from the blood disorder, has worked hard. He's one of the leaders of this club, and Bob Taylor calls him a winner. And this time it is Battle bouncing outside for the first down. Mike Battle up near the 35-yard line, and it's a first down for the Brearley Bears. 8:01 showing on the halftime clock.
And you know, Matt, you can say you talk about Don DeYoung. What is he? Is he very fast? No, he's not blazing fast. Does he have a tremendous arm? No, he doesn't. Does he have great experience? No, he quarterbacked the scout team, but he's a winner. When Bob Taylor calls you a winner, you can give that guy the ball every time it's snapped.
Movement on the defensive line. Corbett, the nose guard, or perhaps it was Nadson. Yes, it was Nadson, the right tackle who moved, the junior 6'3", 205-pounder.
Ken Williams when he lined up.
Encroachment, defense.
That foul is called automatically in high school, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have the opportunity to cross back on your side of the ball if you're a defensive player. Boom, right there.
There it is. When Ken Williams set up, he kind of moved a little bit, but he's entitled to do that. The backs can adjust, and he did make an adjustment. And then the encroachment occurred, and that's automatic. Whistle, 5 yards. Still the same down.
Ball at the 40, 1st and 5. And this time it is Battle who picks up about 4.5, almost 5. He's awfully close to that first down. Mulman making the stop. And he had help on the play. And the help came from Tom Kukier. Patino comes off the field. He has been replaced by Doug Stouffer defensively. Battle with 33 yards this evening, 5.5 yards per carry he's averaging. As we have an official's timeout for a measurement. And he was short of the first down by not much, but about the width of Jim Beamish's hand, about the width of his fist.
That's it.
We'll call it 2nd and a fist.
2nd and a fist. Well, I'll tell you, this is a throwaway down, Matt. They can fake a dive here and try to suck in the secondary and wing one.
Watch for Kaufman here. Kaufman, the tight end, they have not gone to him, Al. They have not thrown to him. He is the leading receiver. Let's see if they try to pick it up here. Dayton will keep it for the first down.
So you called it, Matt. I think they were looking for Kaufman, but Dayton takes a look and says, I can get this by myself. Here it is. There's a fake. Look at Kaufman running straight down the field. He looks. He sees that Dayton was smart enough to see that, and he just crashes up and gets the first down himself.
And Al, if we get a chance to look at that replay again, I think we'll also see that Dayton slipped, that the turf came out from underneath him as he tried to plant. And I think once that happened, he said, hey, I'm going to keep the ball.
Great job. We talked about a winner, and that was an example of why you have a young man like that playing quarterback for you. Very, very intelligent decision.
He has enough for the first down, and it's 1st and 10 for Brearley, and off to the races is Kenny Williams, and Williams is inside the 35-yard line.
That was great execution of that counter option, and Williams caught the ball clean. Look, he looks to the right, turns back, and there he is, and he catches a hole at full stride and gets downfield beautifully for a long gainer.
He stopped at the 35-yard line. Brearley with 109 yards rushing, Dayton with 64. And Brearley leads by a score of 8-7. James King met by Huber and Trivett, but not before he picks up about 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Mike Battle did a great job kicking out to contain there. Just blocked the end out, opened the lane, and they found yardage right up inside that kick-out blocked from the fullback, Mike Battle.
Timeout called by Dayton, their 2nd timeout that they have called, and as they call time, we'll take time. We'll be back after this.
TV3 salutes the athletes of the past year in high school sports.
.6:17 remaining in the first half. Rick Iacono out to speak with the defense, and Rick will get him fired up. He has a way with words. He'll get his message across to that club, and he'll do it rather succinctly. Don't forget, each week on TV3 we have scoreboard, area scores, highlights, our top 10 polls. Saturdays at 7:30, Sundays at 9:30 on TV3.
This is a big weekend in football. You know, we talked about these kids being fired up. The lights, the TV coverage. Remember also, they've had off Thursday and Friday for teachers' convention. Right. So they had an opportunity to spend a little longer on the field if they chose to, as we watched Coach Iacono leave the field.
The wrestling coach here at Dayton, and a big hole. Kenny Williams.
Same play, the counter option, Matt. They fake to one side and come back, and he knows how to hit that hole at full stride. Look at that hole. Look at the size of that hole in the Dayton line. He catches it at full stride, and he's just galloping in the second.
Does not start, but is able to give the team a spark coming off the bench. Brearley, Al, has 6 runners with over 100 yards on the season.
Well, Williams really likes that play. I mean, his eyes must light up when they call that number in the huddle.
Run it again, coach. Run it again. 39 yards. This time it is Battle with the call, and Battle is in.
Battle just went outside, fouled the block by Williams that time. Fake to Williams. Battle saw the outside open and got the yardage.
His 13th touchdown of the year. And that makes that man happy, though he is not smiling. You can't see it on his face, but he's got to be happy with that drive. Scuderi's extra point is good.
You know, we talked to Coach Taylor about Mike Battle and the key word, and we talk about keywords, a competitor. Let's take a look at it. There's the fake. Well, it's not really a fake. It's a lead block by Williams. And Battle sees the yardage, gets someone up on his back, keeps his feet, drives. He is a competitor. That's the word that he used, Coach Taylor did, to describe Mike Battle. And that time we saw an example of that. He wanted that goal line, Matt.
Al, as I said, his 13th touchdown of the year, and to be a senior in a football town and to have scored 13 touchdowns, to be playing on a 6-1 team, it's got to be a warm, wonderful feeling.
And to get your number called with 1 yard short of the goal line, have your number called, you go for it.
Well, whether you go for it on 1 or more than that, as Battle scores his 13th touchdown, capping the drive, and we'll give you the information and the details on that drive after this kickoff by Scuderi. 5:45 to play in the first half. Brearley leading 15-7. He better pick that up unless it goes into the end zone, and it does. And in high school, you cannot return a ball out of the end zone, so the ball will come out to the 20-yard line. Scoring drive for Brearley. 5-yard run by Battle. 81 yards in 9 plays as they lead now by 8, 15-7.
Coach Bob Taylor sending in the defensive signals as Dayton now under the gun to get back in the ball game offensively. He opened up with a shocking drive to break the unscored upon string. Brearley had not been scored on in their last 5 ball games, and Dayton opened up the afternoon, or the evening rather, with a long drive scored, and I thought they'd have the momentum, but Brearley just very confidently got the ball back and drove back up the field, put themselves in a position to be ahead now.
And the pressure here certainly falls squarely on the Bulldogs. They were able to score the first touchdown. Now they find themselves trailing, and the pressure is on. Bazidlo looks to cut it inside. Was able to break one tackle, now wrestled to the ground. Jose Rodriguez and Chris Kirakaitis making the stop. Watch, he'll make one break of a tackle here. He'll run out of somebody's arms. That's Kirakaitis, but Kirakaitis sticks with it.
Look at the way those Brearley Bears just keep their feet and pursue along the line of scrimmage. Good shot of the kind of running that we were getting from Jeremy Bazidlo, but also a very good depiction of the defensive pursuit of that Brearley defense. They just went right along the line of scrimmage, kept their feet, got into the play.
Third down play forthcoming. Bazidlo under pressure, steps up, and it's in and out of the hands of Kaufman, and there was nothing between Tim Kaufman and the end zone.
Nothing but white shirts, some of his teammates. Let's take a look. Bazidlo comes outside, drills the ball, and Kaufman says, wow, look at this, 6 yards, or 6 points. Let me catch the ball and take it up the sideline, and it just goes right out of his hands.
Shaking his head a little bit, a little disappointed that he tried to run with it before he had it. Punting situation on fourth down. Przemierski on.
We saw Przemierski kick with the right foot from placement. Now we'll see the left foot.
Last punt was 27 yards. Remember, Williams had trouble handling it. Another high punt, and he has trouble with it again. This time, I believe he was able to pick it up. So, trouble on the punts for that young man. But this time, he's able to pick it up and hold on to it at the 49-yard line. Good field position for the Bears. 4:17 to play. In the first half, they lead by 8. The scoring was opened by Huber. Andy Huber, a 2-yard run. That came with 4 minutes gone by in the first quarter. Then Don Deon scored for Brearley with 3:53 remaining in the quarter on a 15-yard run. And then just a couple of minutes ago, Mike Battle scored on a 5-yard run. And here's Maselli, who is picked up and dropped by Perez. Almost like a victory celebration, carrying him off the field.
Let's take a look at it. It's that same play, the counter option, and this time Maselli gets a chance to run it, and he hits the hole. There he is up in the air. He tries to jump over, and he's like being carried off the field.
And then Perez says, what am I doing carrying you? I'm going to throw you to the ground. First down for Maselli at the 37-yard line.
Dayton's going to have to stop that play.
Deon will run, and Molman drags him down. I've been impressed with Jason Molman, Al.
Yeah, he comes real hard from that linebacker position. Just he covers the field. Let's take a look at him here. There's the fake. Now he comes outside. Bayon on the outside. Looks like he's going to throw. And gets run down.
Molman is a junior, 6 foot, 170-pounder. He's more quick than he is physical from that weak side spot. Also plays basketball for the Bulldogs. Second down. And about 5. Mike Battle is close to a first down. We'll have to see where they spot it. That right side of the Brearley line has been opening up some holes. That might have gone for a little bit more. Credit the defense with shutting it down quickly, but that right side's been doing the job, Al.
Well, they haven't. They really come off the ball well. That's Bobby Taylor's the center. Mike Ring at right guard, Bruce Harms at right tackle. Harms, and they just fire out and open up the hole. Harms is 5'10", 227. They're all underclassmen. Taylor, a junior, Mike Ring, a junior, and Bruce Harms, a sophomore. And they've just been blowing holes on the right side of the offensive line, the left side of the Dayton defense.
First down was picked up by Battle. Ball at the 26-yard line. Twins come to the near side, and the handoff goes up the middle to Battle. And Battle picks up another 5 yards. They are chewing up yardage at a big clip.
You know, we talked about the fact that Bob Taylor likes to use a lot of backs, but we have seen Battle. We have seen Maselli. We have seen Jimmy King. We have seen Ken Williams all carry the ball. And Dayon on the rollouts, also one of the rushers on this club that gets yardage every ball game. So, you know, you wonder why they have had offensive feasts this season. They've got a lot of backs carrying the ball.
Dayon keeps it himself. Burst of quickness by Dayon, and he's down to the 10-yard line. Trivet combining to make the stop along with Neil Lynch.
There it is, the fake. Dayon sees the open area. He sees the pitch man being played wide, so he just turns it up and gets himself some yardage. 2 minutes to go. Dayton has got to stop this drive somehow. Taking a timeout, it might be an equipment or an injury timeout, but Dayton has got to just rear up and stop this drive. They are going to be much better off if they can go in at halftime, only down 15-7.
John Cataldo is the player who comes out. Patino goes in, and it looks like Cataldo is hurt just a little bit. He's moving his right shoulder and arm, moving it in such a way as to indicate that it might be a little sore. Ball just inside the nose of it, just inside the 10, so Brearley cannot pick up a first down. They've got to get into the end zone. They have 4 tries to do so as James King gets the call and is down to about the 5.
I'm noticing Don Dayon limping very badly. He really limped up to the line of scrimmage that time and got the snap and just turned around and pitched, but he is hurt. He's walking on his heel on that foot that's bothering him.
Oh, you see him go down quickly, too. Doesn't look like he can put much support on that ankle at all.
There it is, the left foot. Look at that. He's really favoring that left foot.
2nd and goal from the 5. Handoff is to Battle, and Battle is close but short of the goal line.
And that time he hopped over to the handoff.
Yeah.
He actually hopped on 1 foot over to the handoff.
Let's see if this is the play where he got hurt. This is the tail end of that run. Let's see if we can see his ankle maybe twist. He got tied up there. That's where he got hurt. It was on that play. You see his ankle is wrapped up in Trivet's arm. Perhaps that's where it was twisted, but he is hurt, no question. John Changeo is the backup. Dayon will take it himself, and he is in.
So
we'll credit Dayon with a 1-yard plunge. Al, he might have sensed I might not play much more today, so let me go out on a touchdown.
Well, he drove off the right foot. He got the snap. The line drove. Now watch how he plants his right foot and just drives off there. Right there, boom, drives in and just gets in. But credit the offensive line again. Bob Taylor at center, just thrusting into the goal line, into the end zone, and Bayonne just follows him in and gets that point. We saw a shot of Bill Changeo, one of the coaches over on the sideline, former Union High School player.
Scuderi on for the extra point, and it's good. And it is now 22-7 in favor of the Brearley Bears, and Dayon's got that leg elevated. You mentioned Bill Changeo. His son is John Changeo, and we may see John in the second half. Just 38 seconds remaining in this half. And so Dayon, I'm sure, will be looked at halftime. But with a 15-point lead, Bob Taylor may not elect to use his senior quarterback if he does not have to. But that's a decision that will be made after Dayton is looked at halftime. At halftime, we will have a combined performance, we understand, by both bands, both the Brearley band and the Dayton band. And we should mention that these two are sister schools, so this is a bit of a family feud. Sister schools in the Union County Regional School System.
That touchdown was very important in terms of making that decision you were talking about, Matt. You go with your backup quarterback up by 7 or up by 15.
Wright picks it up at the 11. And Sherrod Wright is met by Ludek and Maselli and driven back. His forward progress marked at the 24-yard line, and with 32 seconds left, the Bulldogs come onto the field.
Here we talked about the Bulldogs season. They really have nothing to lose, Matt. They're on the downside in terms of their record, and they're out here playing hard, and really in a situation where if they lose, everybody expects them to lose, and if they win, it's a big, big victory for them.
Perez for 6 yards. 10 seconds left in the first quarter. And the clock is stopped with 9 seconds showing on the clock. Second down. It was an official's timeout that was taken. And the clock now begins to run. 7 seconds, 6 left in the first half. And Dayton not interested in running off a play as the clock runs down to 0. Halftime is upon us. Brearley leads 22-7. We'll be back with our halftime entertainment by the combined bands of Brearley and Dayton, plus a look at halftime highlights after this.